Walking out our relationship with God often looks like a dance or a wrestling match. Kind of depends on what season we're in, what God's been up to, what the circumstances of what are going on in our life. See, at the end of the day, God is going to show us, when we're deliberate about seeking Him in this, He's going to show us what it means to look more and more like Jesus each day. We engage with God in actual worship, which is surrender, prayer, which starts with listening, and then we engage in related scripture in that moment. I'm talking about where we set aside specific time every day, whether that's 10 minutes, it's 2 hours, that's up to you and how much time you're spending with God. Often for me, it's somewhere between 20 minutes and 60 minutes, but I'm very deliberate in that time that I am going to seek God through that surrender and worship, listening in prayer, and related scripture, and how I can be more and more like Jesus. And sometimes as I'm doing that, God is showing me things. I'm in that place of worship, and I'm actually dancing with God just like David did before the ark in 2 Samuel 6. It says that David danced with all his might, or he twirled before the Lord. And shortly after that, in chapter 7, what we see is that God made a covenant and He made a promise to David that through David all the world would be blessed through his descendants. It was the Davidic promise, or the Davidic covenant. But it came after he danced with all his might before God. And sometimes this dance with God, that's exactly what it looks like. Other times, we got to wrestle with God. Jacob in Genesis 32, he wrestled with God and he wouldn't let go. If you're taking this serious and you want to be more and more like Jesus, you got to stay on it. You wrestle with God and you push in and you press in how you can be more like Him. And you don't give up. Again, like sometimes it'll take 3 days, sometimes it'll take 3 months or more. But we don't just move on in our devotional. We don't just move on in that walk and that time with God. We continue to pursue Him, that we can walk this out and be more and more like Him. See, if you made 2 major changes every year, after 10 years, that's 20 major changes. And you're just not going to be the same person. And the Father's going to be glorified through the whole process. And you're going to be walking in greater intimacy with God.